We've had the Wednesday races, now it's on to the Saturday races here at Suzuka. A big field today, 16 cars taking to the grid. One of the largest in Zero history, so get ready for that sight. Let us run down the grid for this highly technical and famous track. Starting on the pole position for John Slow Racing is Martin Lauer, championship leader, and Lauer's teammate Ben Schwari is second for John Slow Racing. Mike Mark making a rare appearance in the Saturday races. He starts third for Zagato Piston. Continuing the run of John Slowcar, Stefan Gervais will start from P4. P5 is the Team Shashma car of Wesley Stokes. The top Golden Bolt man is P6, Mark Minahan. P7, Adam Dixon. P8, James Gill. Both are independent run cars. Gill running the Z06 Corvette and the AMG Mercedes for Dixon. 9th is Rick Martel for Team Shashma. 10th, Mike Magasevich for Team Golden Bolt. 11th, Dule Markovich for Team Zagato Piston, pardon me. Nino Schultz, who had a great debut at Chang International Speedway, is here for starting 12th position for the El Nino team. Fallen Angel Racing's Alan Angel, 13th. 14th, Vice Speedworks' Thomas Waz, previously a member of Team Shashma, but has gone the independent route. Interestingly enough, this is not a McLaren 650S like the other McLarens in the grid. It is a McLaren NP12. Starting from 15th, Mark Clapzul of Spalding GT, and bringing up the rear, Dean Reimers, representing Team Golden Bolt. So let's get rolling. And we're off. Couple of cars. Looks like everyone getting away relatively well. Looks like Adam Dixon got off to a particularly good start there. Lauer will retain the lead over Schwari to turn 1. He's followed by Mark. Stokes is up a spot, passing Gervais for 4th place. And as stated, up 1 spot is Dixon in the independent Mercedes. Followed by Mark Minahan. Mark Clapzul, a fantastic start. He's up to, what is that, 8th place? He was not even in the top 10. Nino Schultz is similarly up to 9th. And Tom Waz to 10th. Dean Reimers is up for the back to 11th. So that means Mike Magasevich, James Gill, Rick Martel, and Alan Angel and Dule Markovich appear to have tripped over each other and gone off the track. Sort of 9th through to 12th area of the grid. Lauer getting a little bit of a gap, and Schwari holding up Mark, Stokes, and Gervais, who round off the top 5. 6th for Dixon, he's right there with them. Then it's Minahan, then it's Clapzul 8th, 9th for Schultz, 10th for Waz, 11th for Reimers. Ben Schwari off the track. What happened to Ben Schwari, the championship leader? Nino Schultz is off the track as well. Let's see what happened here. We saw this treacherous hairpin do it in a couple of people. Schwari, oops, pardon me. Let's have a look here. What has happened here? It looks like someone's making a run, trying to get past Schwari. That'd be probably Mike Mark, heading into the hairpin. There he goes down the inside, gets through on Schwari, and maybe a little contact with Wesley Stokes. Maybe nothing really. And Nino Schultz appears to just lose it kind of on his own. So those two cars will be shuffled more or less to the back, I would imagine. So that eliminates some pressure on Martin Lauer, who still leads this race from Mike Mark. Up to 3rd is Wesley Stokes. Gervais is 4th. 5th is Dixon. 6th is Minahan. 7th Clapzul. 8th Waz. 9th Reimers. 10th Magasevich. 11th Gill. 12th Martel. 13th Schwari. 14th Angel. 15th Markovich. 16th Nino Schultz. Lauer coming across the line to lead this lap. He's been red hot since his medical problems have cleared up and has been kicking some ass in the Saturday series. Making a late push to actually be a championship contender against Ben Schwari and Wesley Stokes. Mike Mark, not really a championship aspirant, doesn't usually race the Saturdays, but he's here. He's running in second place, doing a solid job. The aforementioned Stokes is third. Fourth for Gervais. Fifth for Dixon. Sixth for Minahan. Gervais, by the way, will lead in the Academy Cup. Seventh, Clapzul. Eighth, Reimers, who is second in the Academy Cup. Waz is currently third in the Academy Cup. He's fallen back to ninth, losing a spot to Reimers, and may lose more here as the McLaren is proven to be a handful, and off he goes. Magasevich goes through, Gill goes through, I see Martel going through, Schwari through, and Hell through. So he'll rejoin probably ahead of Markovic and Schultz. No, Markovic is going to bag him as well. So back down to 15th spot for Tom Waz, probably 16th. So yeah, he still can't quite find the grip, and Schultz will take that position. Back at the front, Martin Lauer still in the lead, has a pretty handy lead over Mike Mark and Wesley Stokes. Gervais, Minahan, and Clapzul are now 5th and 6th. 7th is Magasevich, 8th is Gill, 9th is Reimers, 10th Schwari. What has happened to Adam Dixon and to... Let's see here. What has happened to the Mercedes driver? I think you'll see a lot more of these Mercedes on the grid next season. This is a powerful, fun car to drive, but it looks like Adam Dixon maybe not having the most fun right at this second. So it looks like he's at this point been falling back at the top 4. And he's going through the Degnas. And just gets a bit wide. Not really much to that. But yeah, that'll let Minahan through. That'll let Clapzul through. And Martel ends up getting just collected by the stranded car of Dixon. It's less than ideal. So Martin Lauer's still in the lead. Calm, cool, collected, heading into the third sector. Mike Mark is closed up a little bit, I think, but not too much, not an alarming amount. Top 3 are relatively spaced. Gervais is in a comfortable 4th. Minahan is 5th. He's got Clapzul now on his tail. Mark Clapzul up into 6th place. Started 15th on the grid and is up into 6th place. A fantastic opening set of laps for Mark Clapzul. He's up 9 spots. Yeah, may have given him a little bit of Caster's curse there as he goes quite kind of wide out of 10:30. R. Seems okay though. Mike Magasevich is up to 7th after some problems on lap 1. He has James Gill behind him, followed by Ben Schwari and Dean Reimers in the last points-paying position. Alan Angel is 11th, followed by Adam Dixon 12th, Markovic 13th, Schultz 14th, Martel 15th, and Waz 16th. Minahan shaking Clapzul loose a little bit, ensuring that 5th position for Golden Bolt. Mike Magasevich seems to be the man under pressure, holding 7th place against James Gill and the championship leader, Ben Schwari. You have to wonder how long he can hold that against 2 cars that are probably faster than him. James Gill, that Z06 is something new to him. He's been prior to this running a BMW, so you never know how settled in that car he is, but he looked good in qualifying. Of course, Schwari was a front row starter and, as stated, championship leader, so you gotta think he has some pace after his problems. Still in the lead is Martin Lauer. Mike Mark in 2nd. Closing out the 3rd lap here. This will be an 8-lap race. And things are very tight heading into 10:30. This could get messy between Magasevich, Gill and Schwarry. So it looks like the order is fairly settled for now, but let's take a look at quickly through the Academy Cup standings. First place is Gervais. Second place belongs to Magasevich. Third to James Gill. Fourth to Dean Reimers. Fifth to Alan Angel. And the final points paying position for that is Dule Markovic in sixth. Nino Schultz is seventh. And eighth for Thomas Waz. Half the field being Academy drivers, half the field being professional. This is the final season of the Academy Cup, it should be mentioned, as next season it will be a silver and a gold cup. The drivers will be assigned rankings based on their prior results, and everyone will be eligible for the overall title, aka the gold cup, while certain drivers will be eligible for the silver cup. As the grid grows, we may even incorporate a bronze. Similar to the overall title, the silver cup, and the Pro-Am and Am titles of, say, Blanche-Blanc GP. Or GT, I should say, not GP. Martin Lauer still leading from Mike Mark, Wesley Stokes, and Stefan Gervais. Mark Minahan is in 5th. Mark Klapzul is 6th. Magasevich is holding on to 7th, and indeed has actually opened up a little bit of a gap on Ben Schwarry. James Gill's had something happen to him. What has happened to the Corvette driver? I feel like we kind of have an answer on the matter. Looks like he's gone into the wall. How did that happen? So it looks like he had an earlier problem, actually. This doesn't look like it's even his first problem, because we know he was right up on the back of 7th place Magasevich. So something happened to him beforehand, and it looks like Adam Dixon's going to be involved in it as well. What has happened to the Corvette? Let's ride with him here as he tries to keep up with Magasevich. Just gets a little too much of the curb and ends up hitting it, taking out some pylons. There goes Reimers and Hell up into a point scoring position, by the way. Dixon really kind of seemed to be okay. It just goes way off the track trying to avoid him. And he gets nicked again and spun around. And then we also know he goes off later in the lap. So maybe some tire problems for James Gill at this point in the race. We said he was unfamiliar with the car to a degree. He had not prior to this race been racing the Z06. He'd been a BMW driver, but things are problematic now. Martin Lauer still leading the way from Mike Mark, Wesley Stokes, and Stefan Gervais. The top 4 have pretty much vanished from everyone else. Mark Minahan largely on his own in 5th as well, though Mark Klapzul is in spitting distance. Might have a play from the Dutchman yet. Mike Magasevich in 7th, now holding on against the 8th place Ben Schwarry, championship leader. By the way, this could be a big deal in the championship if Ben Schwarry is held back here. He had been pretty dominant up until this point, but Wesley Stokes is eating into a lot into him right now, and so is Martin Lauer. Schwarry going up the inside into the chicane. Can he make the move work? No, Magasevich takes an incredibly tight line to hold it. Great defensive driving. Schwarry will not give up there, though. He is a fighter every inch of the way. Alan Angel in the background has actually taken Dean Reimers for 9th place. I wonder what has happened to Dean. Schwarry overcooks it into turn 1. Magasevich gets back on the switchback. And is this done? Does Schwarry have more in him yet? Looks like it, but we'll take a quick look away from this fight to have a look at some of the other things. Alan Angel, like I said, taking 9th place off of Dean Reimers. Reimers would like to come back at him. And Dule Markovic is right behind them in 11th place, followed by Nino Schultz. Adam Dixon, 13th. 14th, Rick Martel. 15th is Tom Waz. And 16th is James Gill. James Gill has parked it. That suggests a terminal problem from his prior crashes. So the Australian in the Corvette is out of the race. Martin Lauer still leads the way, followed by Mike Mark and Wesley Stokes. Gervais is starting to put the pressure on him, though, looking to get that all-Canadian podium, and Mark Minahan is still 5th. Klabzul, Magasevich is still holding off Schwari. I really thought I would come back to this and see Schwari had gotten clear of him, but not yet. The fight is still on. Magasevich getting a little bit wide. Schwari doesn't really go for it, though. You know, he could have probably forced that issue a little bit more. But he does have a championship to think about. He does, you know, we talked about how this is a blow, this is an opening door for his contenders, but it would become an even bigger one if he were to have an accident here as well. So he's got to weigh the pros and cons. Pressure's on through 10:30, heading into the chicane. He made a move into the chicane last time and came up a bit short. Can he do it? Nope, nothing's really on, it seems, this time. And then he also tried to make a move last lap into turn 1. Will he do the same here at the opening of lap 6? Nope, just follow the leader through turn 1 for now. Dean Reimers has taken 9th place back, and Dule Markovic has also moved up. Let's have a look at what happened to Alan Angel there. Nino Schultz, Adam Dixon, Rick Martel all on the tail end of this too. This is for the last 2 points paying position, so it's important stuff. Not sure what happened to the 650S of Alan Angel. We knew he was under pressure from Reimers earlier, but we did not see an overtake occur. I feel like the answer is the hairpin. Indeed it is. Alan Angel looks like he definitely overcooks the brakes here and heads on off. So a bit anticlimactic after all that searching. But that does slide Alan Angel from 9th down to 11th out of the points paying positions and 2 spots in the Academy Cup, because both drivers that overtook him are Academy. Martin Lauer leading us through the 5th lap here. Fast forward a little bit to make up the ground that we lost there, hunting down Alan Angel's moment. Still think this battle for 7th place might be where the action is at, with the championship leader taking on Magasevich, who qualified in 10th as opposed to 2nd for Schwari. See if Magasevich can hold, but we'll be keeping an eye on some of the other action as well. Tom Waz having a rough day for his independent Vice Speedworks team, running the McLaren NP12. Riding with Martin Lauer here on the 6th lap. Still leading from Mike Mark and Wesley Stokes. Stokes has opened up a bit of a gap to Stefan Gervais. We thought he was under pressure for a while there, but it looks like he's alleviated that. Mark Minahan having a rather lonely race in 5th, but he is being caught by Mark Klabzul, so that may not be as lonely for much longer. As we said, the battle for 7th place continues to rage between the Ironman Mike Magasevich and the championship leader Ben Schwari. Alan Angel has lost another spot to Adam Dixon. He's going wide again here. Dixon also got past Nino Schultz in that matter, so I'm thinking Angel and Schultz may have gone wide. Yeah, We'll slot him back down to 13th position. Three laps to go for Martin Lauer before he hits pay dirt. Mike Mark and Wesley Stokes right now make up the rest of the podium, and Stefan Gervais would love to get on the podium. He's still in 4th position. Mark Minahan, 5th. Mark Klabzul, 6th. Mike Magasevich is still doggedly defending against Ben Schwari. You gotta wonder, is this killing his tires? Would you be better off to let the champion through and live to kind of take an 8th place finish, or fight for the 7th and risk it all? He seems to be taking the risk it all approach. The good news, of course, with the reverse grid is that this would put Schwari quite high on the grid and give him a solid chance at some serious points there. Not really committing to anything as of yet. And Nino Schultz, Alan Angel, Markovic has gone. Okay, we have to go back and investigate this. Dule Markovic, who was running in 10th place, which would be pole for race 2. Somewhere him and Adam Dixon, I think, have had a coming together, because they have dropped back behind Nino Schultz and Alan Angel. So Schultz now has the pole position for race number 2. Well, indeed, it looks like we're going to have a contact here. Right on board with Markovic. He's trying to put a little bit of pressure on Dean Reimers. Just kind of loses control of the car. Spins out. Recovers. But then enters right in front of Adam Dixon and gets smashed by the Mercedes car. And through goes Schultz. Through goes Angel. Not sure where Martel is. He must have had a moment as well. He's dropped back in the pack a little bit. Martin Lauer still running through lap 7, leading from Mike Mark and Stefan. Whoa! This lap has been action-packed. Gervais has got the move done on Wesley Stokes. The All-Canadian podium is on. Looks like the second Degnas was the key. Wesley Stokes gets a little bit wide on both of them and cannot keep his speed up through them, and through goes Gervais. Pressured him into a mistake. Speaking of pressure, though, Mike Magasevich still holding up under the pressure of Ben Schwari in this battle for 7th place. Heading into the hairpin. A lot of moves have been made into this hairpin. Nothing on this time through. It was the hairpin actually that kind of ruined Schwari's race. Schultz still hanging on to that last points paying position. And pole for race 2. Angel and Markovic would love to get their hands on it. So would Dixon. So the Academy leader has been Gervais pretty much this whole time, and now he's fighting over a podium with Wesley Stokes. Second in the Academy right now is Magasevich back in 8th place. 9th place Dean Reimers rounds off the podium for that. Schultz 4th, Angel 5th, and 6th for Dule Markovic. Waz running around to the back is also still in the mix, and of course the retired James Gill. Gervais hangs on for now. Oh, Ben Schwari's opening it up and trying to go around the outside into turn 1. This could get hairy. Mark Klabzul has dropped behind them actually, so we'll look up that as soon as this resolves. So Klabzul, who was in 6th place, was making up a little bit of ground, it seemed, on Mark Minahan. has had himself a moment, perhaps. Looks like the chicane is the answer to this question. Is this an attempt at a position for 5th gone wrong, or something? Looks like he just overcooks it heading into the chicane and has to take the escape route. Of course, there is a barrier there and has to dig himself out of the grass. There they go. It took them a while, actually. He was surprisingly far ahead of that battle. But he rejoins in 8th place. So that's still not a terrible result, but definitely a problem, and hopefully everything on the car is okay. Martin Lauer is on his final lap, and I don't really think anything else, knock on wood, don't caster's curse, can really stop him. He's pretty much got the... It's definitely in his hands. I don't think there's anything Mike Mark can really do. Gervais is 3rd. Still hanging on for that all-Canadian podium. He's got Wes Stokes putting the pressure on him. Mark Minahan has had a pretty lonely race in 5th. Like we said, Mark Klabzul kind of knocking off the track. Ends really any threat to that position. And Magasevich, Minahan's teammate, still gamely defending against Ben Schwari, whose 2 teammates are up on the podium. There's absolutely the race-winning speed in that John Slow Racing BMW, but he has not, to date, gotten past Mike Magasevich. Mark Klabzul in behind them. Reimers is 9th. Schultz, Angel, Markovich, Dixon, Martel, Waz, and the retired James Gill. Martin Lauer coming through the chicane for the final time, heading into the final turn of the race to take victory here in Suzuka. Mike Mark continues his strong run of form. He was the winner in the 2nd race at Suzuka on Wednesday, and he takes 2nd place here today. In the meantime, Wesley Stokes, we're going to go back and check that out, because Wesley Stokes got around Stefan Gervais somewhere on the final lap to deny Canada the all-podium positions. And the double podium for John Slow Racing. Let's see where that happened. It would be somewhat of a cosmic irony if perhaps it was in the exact same spot that Gervais took him, which was, if you recall, the 2nd Degna. It's not. It's later on in the lap. Sadly, it looks more like just getting wide and unable to hold the momentum through the turn. So Wesley Stokes salvages a 3rd place, critically ahead of Ben Schwari. I believe he holds it anyways. I think we saw Stokes get to the line earlier. Gervais thought about making a move into the chicane, but thought better of it. He will take the Academy win for the day, but a proper podium would have definitely felt a little sweeter. Mark Minahan takes a lonely finish to the line for 5th. Ben Schwari, he's got the chicane and 1 turn after that to work with. Can he get past Magasevich? I think the answer is no if he cannot do it in the chicane here. And Magasevich gets through the chicane and actually looked like he was the faster through it. So 6th place and 2nd in the Academy Cup for Mike Magasevich. Ben Schwari 7th, the championship leader. 8th for Mark Klabzul. 9th place will be Dean Reimers, rounding off the Academy podium. And the final points paying position and pole for race 2 will go to the Callaway C7 of Nino Schultz. Alan Angel takes home 11th ahead of Dule Markovich, Adam Dixon, Rick Martel, and Tom Waz will finish the race in 15th position. A retirement for James Gill, but otherwise 15 cars have made it home, and a pretty solid outing for Zero Racing here. Race 2 is coming up tomorrow, and I hope you all enjoyed this commentary. I know I did. That was a fantastic race.